Welcome to Introduction to Engineering 1100. Our team is 39. Our project is carbon sequestration. Let's take a look on our design and criteria. Let's begin with Ali.
Coal and other fossil fueled power plants have emitted 1.87 billion tons in the US and 14.4 billion tons of carbon worldwide in 2011. My individual design starts with pumping water from nearby bodies or rivers of water to coal factories. The water will be stored in large bags or containers in open areas where the naturally occurring algae in the water will be in contact with sunlight for photosynthesis. Instead of the coal being burned and released from the chimney stacks into the atmosphere, the excess gases will be piped instead to the large amounts of algae, where almost all of the carbon dioxide will be used up. To maximize the algae density, nutrients such as phosphorus will be needed to feed the algae to increase growth, even though algae doubles their amount every few hours. These nutrients will be sourced from nearby food factories, and although there are harmful chemical waste in the river waters, tests have shown algae growing well in these human-polluted waters. Since algae is high in protein and oil content, it can be sold afterwards to recoup costs, even though it won't cover all of the operating costs.
Our second design is Coronado. Let's begin.
For my design, I decided to create an artificial phytoplankton ecosystem which will mimic the ocean conditions needed for a real phytoplankton to survive, but it's going to have artificial phytoplankton inside. In my design, the artificial phytoplankton is inside this container, which has ocean water, and around the phytoplankton it has pipelines which will provide the nutrients it needs to grow. Also on the top, it will have a net that will allow the sunlight to go to the phytoplankton and produce photosynthesis. This artificial phytoplankton is going to be able or expected to produce so much more oxygen than the natural phytoplankton and also absorb so much more carbon dioxide.
Now, Carlos, it's your turn.
I have chosen to design vegetation strips that can be installed in various urban settings, such as homes, buildings, and roads. The premise of the design is to create a stainless steel wiring frame that can hold 3 different layers. The first layer being a porous / spongy base that helps trap and retain moisture. Second layer being the mineral / rock layer that provides nutrients for plants to grow, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, etc. And the third one being the actual plants / vegetations. I found that the best plants to use would be ivy-leaved toadflax, stonecrop, as well as sea thrift, since they require the least amount of care. And for the stainless steel wire frame, it would require a grade 316 so that it would be best for durability and cost effectiveness.
Valeria, are you ready?
For my individual design, I have designed an open-floored greenhouse that grows bamboo. This allows for bamboo plantation across the world regardless of the climate. Indoor plantation will allow for the growing of bamboo in cooler climates since it creates a warm environment for the plants. The greenhouse is open-floored, or in other words, the bamboo is directly grown from the soil, which allows some of the carbon to be stored directly into the soil in the form of carbohydrates, which is used up by microorganisms to produce healthy soil. In the greenhouse, sprinklers will be installed, which will wet the foliage and will create moisture in the air, thus facilitating plant growth. A fanning system is found inside the greenhouse, which will mimic the breeze of the outdoors, and a ventilation system that is stretched across the whole greenhouse will facilitate air circulation. Bamboo is exceptional at absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it into the rhizomat and in phytoliths. I chose bamboo as it grows rapidly while efficiently absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. This carbon dioxide is then transformed into sugars and then synthesized into the compounds that make up bamboo fiber. When the bamboo reaches approximately 25 feet, it will be harvested and manufactured into durable goods such as houses, boards, panels, floors, furniture, and more.
Hello, my name is Dact. I'm proudly introducing you my design Green Proof. This technology exists since 1940, but not many people they know or use them. As our job engineering, we have to improve that because it's a great way to capture carbon, but also bring a lot of profit and the green to every house. Let's you go home and you see all the garden on your roof. you should very happy. And you also happy more that your proof will capture carbon that you use every day. And that's it. It's our 5 designs for carbon sequestration. Each of them is very wonderful. So which one do you choose, or which one do we pick? We have our own value. It's called our own criteria. It's focused on cost effectiveness, implementation, longevity, user friendliness, and effectiveness. This is the table is how we evaluate of each design. And the most possible we pick on our design is the Carlos design. Now Carlos, please tell more.
As for the criteria for my design, it has high scores for the cost effectiveness since the materials themselves aren't very expensive and it does not require that much maintenance. The implementation is about average because it requires cooperation from both the public and private sector. For longevity is actually pretty good because it can last several decades before it would need to be replaced. As for user friendliness, it does not require some specialist to actually install it. It is a very rudimentary design. And for effectiveness, it's not that great because it would require a long-term project involvement rather than short-term.
We are done. Thanks for your time.